Hola chicos y chicas, hoy día vamos a hablar de los pronombres de objeto directo y vamos a tener tiempo para trabajar en los proyectos, ¿ok? Los objetivos de hoy son, yo puedo entender qué son y cómo se usan los objetos directos, los pronombres de objetos directos, perdón, y yo puedo trabajar en mi proyecto. Our objective here is twofold. We are hopefully learning how to understand what direct object pronouns are and how we can use them in Spanish, and then also working on our project. The plan today is pretty simple. We are going to spend time on Quizlet. We are going to learn about direct object pronouns and then practice them. And then we will have time to work on our project. A reminder here that your time to work on your project is for this news reporter project we're working on. Okay? So, para el calentamiento, ve a Quizlet, practica con las noticias. Esto es diferente de lo normal. Vamos a las noticias. Y por favor, tomen el test y pongan sus capturas de pantalla en el paquete de clase. So here, this is a newer vocab set for us, but we are, since we're transitioning into this project where we are newscasters, we're no longer necessarily working with the natural disasters as much. So I want you to be practicing with las noticias, okay? And then, sorry, lost my train of thought there for a second. And then once you have taken the test, put your screen capture there as well. Okay, so pronombres de objeto directo. This is can be a really complex grammar lesson. Hopefully, the way that I explain it makes a little bit more sense. If you are a grammar person, then I'll use those words. But if you're not a grammar person, don't worry about figuring out the exact name of everything and the exact role it plays in a sentence. So basically, when we are talking about direct objects, a direct object is the part of the sentence that receives the action of the verb. Okay? So if we look at this sentence in English, we'll start there so we make sure we understand the concept before doing it in another language. The avalanche destroyed the road. The verb here is destroyed. The avalanche is doing the destroying. Okay, it's doing the action. In this case, we're talking about a past tense action in preterite because it's a one-time event. And then that makes the avalanche the subject, right? Because it's the thing that's doing the action. But then in this sentence, there's also something that's receiving the action, that's being destroyed, okay? And that is the road in this pink box right here. And then we also see el alud, that's the avalanche in Spanish. El alud destruyó la calle, okay? So the road and la calle in these two examples, which are really the same one, just in different languages, are the direct object, okay? Now be careful because the direct object and the direct object pronoun are two different things. If we remember learning our pronouns in Spanish 1, the subject pronouns are yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, ellas, ellos, ustedes. And they're pronouns because they can serve as a subject, but they're taking the place of like a proper noun subject. So yo, while we would usually say I, is actually taking the place of saying Ms. Cuthbert over and over and over again. So because we don't want to sound like that when we're talking, we replace it with a pronoun. And pronouns allow us to substitute things and repeat ourselves less. So if I were telling a story about this avalanche, maybe I was driving to the mountains to go skiing and an avalanche destroyed the road in front of me. And I was telling this story, I would probably not want to say, yeah, there was an avalanche. The avalanche destroyed the road. The road was just terribly destroyed. The road was impassable. There were so many cars on the road that couldn't get through the road. You get the drift. I'm repeating myself over and over and over again. So that's why we have direct object pronouns, which replace our direct objects. Okay? So these are direct objects because they are directly receiving the action of the verb. What was destroyed? The road. Okay? And then they answer that question. What? So if you have a sentence, you know the subject is the avalanche and the verb is destroyed. The road is the thing that answers the question, what? The avalanche destroyed what? The road. And then our pronouns here in English, In this case, it would be it, right? The avalanche destroyed the road. The avalanche destroyed what? It, okay? They can also stand in for people. You know, if I want to say I called my mom, and you didn't want to repeat my mom, my mom, my mom over and over and over again, you could say I called her, right? So her would be another example in English of a direct object pronoun. Those would be like my friend called me, you, her, him, them, us would be another one, and then them again for the plural on the other side. So those are your direct object pronouns in English. Hopefully they are pretty natural, and if you were to challenge yourself to substitute something in a sentence with one of those words, it would be pretty clear. So we're going to move right along into the Spanish direct object pronouns, which are right here. There's a space in your class packet to copy these down. So yo goes to me, tú goes to te, ella or él goes to lo or la, nos, os, las, los. And then a quick kind of like spiral back review here. There are a lot of options. In fact, there are as many options for ella and él and ellas and ellos as there are for yo, tú, nosotros, and vosotros. The reason for that is when we are talking about, these are like third person singular and third person plural over here, we need to consider the gender of what we're talking about. So if we go back to this example, right, which is not going back because we actually haven't gone over it yet, but if we look at this example and say the storm left a lot of snow, we can tell here, and maybe we know already, that nieve is feminine, mucha nieve. So we're going to replace that with a feminine direct object pronoun, which would be la. If I wanted to say the storm destroyed trying to think of a masculine word here, my car. The storm destroyed my car. That would be mi carro, el carro. Okay, and then you would say lo because it is singular and it is masculine. Okay, and then if you're talking about more than one thing, maybe the storm left a lot of snowflakes. Okay, that would be las. Or if you wanted to say the earthquake destroyed a lot of cars, multiple cars, that would be los. Okay, so hopefully these are in your class packet and you are feeling clear about when and why you would use these. And then we're going to move into práctica. So there's an opportunity here for you to show what you know. And I will show you in your class packets just so we are all on the same page. So this might seem like quite a bit of work, but I promise that going through it methodically, the more you do it, the faster this process will get, and eventually you won't need to take so many steps. So I kind of used a similar example here to show you what I'm looking for with this 1, 2, 3, 4. The first step is to translate the sentence. So traduce la oración al español. We can see that from here, this is our original sentence, and we went to number 1. Okay, después, segundo, identifica el pronombre de objeto directo. You can use your English sentence to help you identify this, but I do think it's important to, or sorry, not the pronombre, just the objeto directo. You want to make sure you are really clear on what is receiving the action of the verb. So in here, in this case, we're saying the storm left a lot of snow. What did the storm leave behind? A lot of snow. So either way, you can highlight a lot of snow or just snow, as I did here. And then the next step is to identify which of these direct object pronouns is most likely to be used. I will give you guys a hint, like a little cheat here. The 3 examples I'm giving you to work with, you will only be choosing among these 4 things. So ella, él, ellas, ellos, ustedes. So you will have these 4 choices, lo, la, las, los. And when you're making those choices, consider, is it singular? We know this is singular because it doesn't have an S on the end. And then la nieve doesn't end in an A or an O, so it doesn't tell us as clearly, but you can obviously look that up. Okay, so that's step 3. And then what is tricky here, and what I'm going to go back over and make sure we understand in just a moment, is that in English, if we are saying the storm left it behind, left a lot of snow behind, left it behind, we would put that it at the end of the sentence, right? However, in Spanish, the order is a little bit different. So this nieve is replaced by la. We don't need the nieve anymore. It is gone. It is all under, like, transformed into this la. It goes before that verb, okay? So la dejó, la tormenta la dejó. Believe it or not, I have been using these direct object pronouns quite a bit in practices and in writing that I've given to you all. So just try and remember back to those things and it might be helpful. If it sounds wrong, chances are it's wrong, okay? You've heard enough at this point to be exposed to it and to know that, okay? So ahora ponle pausa a este video, okay? Y vamos a seguir después. So when you are done with your práctica, it is time to work. I just want to make sure we are clear here. So now is a great time to take stock and sort of test yourself on, okay, what do I need to do for the project? What are the expectations? When is it due? What do I need to do to get there? All of that stuff, okay? So you're probably just starting out. You were introduced to the project last module. So you might be starting from ground zero here. You should think about what you want your finished project to look like, your finished product to look like, before you really start working on the project itself. So I definitely suggest some planning. I have made some optional documents for you to plan with, to use, and those should be helpful in guiding you. But if that is not the way your brain works or the way that you process information, then you still should be thinking about the process as a whole and how you want to end up at the end. Okay, so no more talking from me. Es el tiempo para trabajar de ustedes. Okay, por favor que pidan ayuda si la necesitan. Okay, please ask for help if you need it. Some of you who are very quick with the direct object pronouns may have noticed that I just used one in that sentence right there. I said, please ask for help si la necesitan. Okay, so it's talking about that la, which is la ayuda. So si la necesitan, pidan ayuda. If you need it, ask for help. Anyway, that is all for me today. Gracias, como siempre, para la concentración y el trabajo que van a hacer. Nos vemos.